Hello, I'm Danielle Naples, a registered nurse in the emergency department, and I will be discussing hemolysis rates in the emergency department. The study I conducted was designed to answer the question, what method of blood sample collection leads to higher rates of hemolysis in the emergency department? The hypothesis was that blood samples obtained through the use of IV catheters would be more likely to become hemolyzed. The participants in the study were a random sample of 45 emergency room patients. The sample patients were selected at random and information regarding data was collected onto an Excel spreadsheet. It was strictly an observational study, so no surveys or experimental treatments were used. Patients to be studied were selected at random by first selecting 3 random days over which to collect the data, then selecting 15 patients in each day at random to form the random sample. Blood samples drawn on the randomly selected patients were studied for proportions of hemolysis, sorted into 2 groups. Group 1, which contained specimens drawn by the IV catheter, and Group 2, they were drawn with direct venipuncture. The study yielded 127 samples drawn from an IV catheter, and of those 127 samples, 33 became hemolyzed. The study also contained 79 samples drawn from the direct venipuncture method, and of those 79 samples, 11 became hemolyzed. The results here are shown in the pie graph. The proportion of hemolysis was higher in the IV catheter samples. You can see here on the left that the IV catheter samples in the blue was the percentage of hemolysis. On the right, it was in the blue the percentage of hemolysis by direct venipuncture. The results are now written here. P-value of 0.04 and the Z-stat of 2.05. The study showed that the method used did influence the proportion of hemolysis in the ED. Using the direct venipuncture, while less commonly used during this study period, did reduce the proportion of hemolyzed samples significantly. This result matched our initial alternative hypothesis, and the p-value indicates that the result was statistically significant, p-value of 0.04, which is less than 0.05. The limitations in this study were the sample size being small. The study period was short due to time constraints. With such a small sample size, the chance that an outlier in the data would skew the data is higher. Potential source for biases were the lower chance that the venipuncture samples were obtained by an RN. Venipuncture is often performed by technicians or specialists in the department as well. This is a lurking variable, as ideally all samples would be obtained from RNs for the study. References for the paper and for the PowerPoint are listed here. Thank you.